The first meeting is really a get-to-know-you meeting. We're going to sit down. Typically, the meeting will last about an hour. We're having a conversation. My job is to ask them some questions about where they are, what some of their goals are, what some of the key objectives they have in meeting with me, where they are to this point, and really what brought them in to see me. And now I'm at the point in my career where I have a lot of people that are dependent upon me to provide them with all the guidance and all the advice that we do on a day-to-day basis.
You spend your working years trying to build up your assets, trying to build up pension credits at your job, trying to grow your nest egg so that you can one day retire when you can't work or don't want to work anymore. And that's a period followed by phase two, which is retirement. And your priorities in these two phases are very different, but many times we see people don't make that shift and they still act like they're in phase one when they really should be acting like they're in phase two.
We're going to talk to you about what we commonly refer to as the second half of the game. And what I mean by that is you're working your entire life towards retirement, and I'm assuming that most of you are, at that age where you're starting to consider some of your options as you move into retirement. And as you do that, you're moving from what we call the accumulation phase of your life, where you're accumulating your assets. Maybe you're participating in your company's 401k, maybe you're contributing to an IRA account or a Roth IRA account or some type of retirement vehicle. And now, as you retire, you're transitioning into the distribution phase, or the part where you're going to need income in retirement. So we're going to talk about some different ways to do that with an emphasis on Social Security.
Hello, welcome to Financially Speaking with Jeff Bush. My name is Barry Warinker, and I'm the host of today's show. And Jeff, during a previous show that we did, we discussed some little-known facts about Social Security, tips on how to get the most out of Social Security, that type of thing. And we had a terrific response, a lot of emails, a lot of phone calls. And so we thought today it would make sense to just kind of go a little deeper into that Social Security discussion, because it seems to touch just about everybody sooner or later.
Yep. Well, hello, Barry, and welcome to the show. Glad to be here today. So much of our practice centers around the Social Security decision, and it's really the start of income planning. Today we're going to continue to discuss some of the finer points of Social Security, maybe some things that you won't find on the Social Security website.
Well, I'll tell you, if you go on the Social Security website, there's a lot of good information on there, but they really can't advise you on how to make this decision. They'll tell you it's important. They'll tell you you've got to do a lot of analysis and a lot of thought, but they don't tell you how to do that, and they won't give you any advice. But one thing that people often don't know is that they can stop start their Social Security, stop it, and then restart it again. And talk a little bit about how that works.
Okay, so start, stop, restart. If you're already collecting your retirement benefit and you're at or over full retirement age, so let's say it's 66, you can instruct the Social Security Administration to suspend further benefits and then ask them to restart your benefits at a later date, like up to age 70. So why would you do that? Well, the benefit is in doing this is that you can enjoy an 8% per year increase in your Social Security benefit for each year you defer receiving benefits. So as with anything else, there's a trade-off. You'll have to give up receiving your checks for a little while, and you can delay until age 70. So you can't go past age 70. There's no benefit to waiting past that because your benefit doesn't go up anymore. But if you're in a situation, let's say you're working, you found employment, or maybe you received an inheritance. Could be a number of reasons why you don't
Suddenly don't need the money.
You don't need the income, and it would be better to delay getting it at a later time, and the benefit might be a little bit higher. We find people get maybe temporary work situations. Maybe they're put into a consulting role or some kind of temporary assignment where it just pays them to hold off.
And because that 8% roll-up, I mean, you're talking about an increase ultimately in your benefit for the rest of your life. And if you're married, it could affect your spouse, his or
Rest
her
of
income
her
as
life.
well.
Yeah.
So getting an 8% return is just flat out good.
Yeah, so if you do it for 3 years, it's 24%. So it could be a big thing. And of course, there is trade-offs. You have to look at a lot of different factors, how it's going to affect your assets, how long you're going to live. So we have to look at your health. But it's a nice little known tidbit on Social Security.
Okay, so let's talk about the unfortunate aspect of Social Security for people that are divorced. If you're divorced, that's going to impact you in many ways, and Social Security is one of the ways. And people aren't always familiar with what's available to them. And again, the Social Security website and talking to Social Security directly, they can answer some questions, but they really can't help you with strategies. And for divorced people, this could be critical.
Yeah. So let's talk about divorced. If you're divorced and your marriage lasted at least 10 years, you can receive benefits on your ex-spouse's record. The way I like to explain it, it's as if you were still married when it comes to Social Security. Even if your former spouse has remarried, you can still get Social Security benefits. Now, you can't remarry, but your ex-spouse can remarry. So Johnny Carson, in fact, had 4 ex-spouses getting Social Security benefits off of his Social Security record.
It sounds like he had a system going where he would marry them each for 10 years and then divorce them just so he'd get another one and put her on Social Security
Just
down
so
the
they
road.
could qualify for Social Security
He
benefits.
beat the system, it sounds
Yeah.
like.
So a divorced spouse can begin receiving benefits at age 62, and again, it's as if for Social Security calculations, it's as if you were still married.
Okay, yeah, that's interesting. And anybody that is watching, if you have questions about the best ways to take Social Security, we'd be happy to provide some expertise in that area. That's something we do with our clients because, again, as you mentioned earlier, at Informed Family, the foundation of our business is helping people have reliable, predictable, growing, safe income throughout their lives, and Social Security is obviously a bedrock of safe income. I mean, you're talking about income that you can count on, and income that historically goes up most years, and but many people make a quick decision, and what's the old saying is when you make a quick decision, you repent at leisure, and this is something that will follow you, through a 10, 20, 30 years or more of retirement. It's not a decision you want to make quickly or lightly.
Correct. So why do clients make the wrong Social Security claiming decision? And Barry, there's a variety of reasons. One is longevity. People live much longer than they think they're going to live. It's just a question of your own mortality. People vastly underestimate how long they're going to live. Next, we have inaccurate information. People get information from a lot of unreliable sources. The barber shop, the bar, their brother-in-law. I mean, you name it. And a lot of this information is unreliable. So that's kind of where we come in. We try to put a lot of rationale, if you will, a lot of reasoning into making a Social Security decision. And we want to make it a well thought out decision because after all, it's going to be with you the rest of your life.
Well, let's talk a little bit about longevity, Jeff, because I know traditionally people had in mind that they were going to retire at 65. That was the old paradigm, let's say. And so you went to work after high school, or if you went to college, maybe a little later. But you worked until you were 65, and then you retired with a pension and some Social Security. And from an actuary standpoint, and actuaries are those people that crunch the numbers at the big insurance companies to predict what the outcomes will be over time. Social Security was kind of figuring, well, if we give people Social Security at 65, and this is back in the late 30s, early 40s, how many years are we going to have to pay them? 5 years, 10 years. People didn't live that much past
Right.
65.
Well, so that's actually one of the problems why the system is in such disarray right now, because of the whole longevity issue. Back in the 1935, when the Social Security program was incepted, life expectancy was about 65.
Yeah.
So people that went on the benefit weren't on it for very long. Well, now, if you're 65 and you start taking a Social Security benefit, you're gonna take that benefit about 21 years, on average, actuarially speaking. So that's a long time to take the benefit. That's a long time to be living with the decision that you're going to make. So
And I did read a statistic, and this is fairly recently. They said that if you're a couple, age 65, there's I think it was a 25% chance that at least one of you will be living to age 90.
it's
it's higher than that.
It's
It's
actually 50%.
Okay.
There's actually a 50% chance that one of you will make it to age 90. So that even makes the decision even more important because of the survivor benefits that are inherent in the Social Security benefits. So if you have a married couple and the first spouse dies, the surviving spouse gets the higher benefit. So let's just look at it from a traditional standpoint, husband and wife. Usually the husband's benefit is bigger. Okay, that's just historically the way it's been.
More years in the workworce, full time, all that good stuff.
Right. Not always, but yeah. But especially when we're looking at some of the older folks. So and also, the husband usually dies first. Okay.
Is that because he worked so hard and
Yeah.
didn't stay home and take care of the kids?
He was how do you like to say it? He was survived by his wife.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
Yeah. So men die first. So what happens is, the wife takes the husband's Social Security benefit because it's a bigger check.
Sure.
So, so age 90 is the kind of the 50% of couples. One of them is going to make it to age 90.
If you think about what started the whole Social Security business was, originally it was called old age insurance. You don't hear that phrase anymore, but in effect, really, that it is old age insurance. Kind of the opposite of life insurance, of what we think of as life insurance when you're young, maybe, and you have people depending on you for income. So you insure your life just in case it's not long enough for you to make all the money you need for family and whatnot, or for yourself. But so you insure your life that you're going to die too soon. Well, now you get to the point where you're starting to look at Social Security. What you're getting from Social Security is old age insurance against having lived too long. So again, if you really need to do, we ask people a lot of questions when we do a Social Security analysis about family history, about longevity in the family, medical questions, because it's a complicated answer as to when is the best time to take it and how to get the most. And most people, again, when they think of longevity, it's hard for people of any age to picture themselves being 90 years old. Unless you're 89, then you can picture it.
Yeah.
But if you're 60, the idea of being 90 is you just can't even really picture what that happening.
A lot of people look at Social Security as it's my money.
Mm-hmm.
I want it. I'm 62. It's there. It's my money. Rather than a lifetime of inflation-adjusted income,
right,
which is really what it is. You're going to get it for the rest of your life. You're going to get a raise every year based on, not every year, but most years.
Most years.
You're going to get a raise based on this formula that they have. And it's really like managing a large asset. It's like managing an asset that's somewhere between $600,000 and $800,000. It's a lot of money.
Sure.
But that's really what you're going to get out of it over your lifetime. So it's really managing a large inflation adjusted income. So Barry, a lot of good information that we have today. So here's what we're going to do. We have a report that we're going to give, and it's called 40 Little Known Facts and Tips About Your Social Security Decision. We're going to offer that free to our viewers. Now, it's easy to get. All you have to do is give our office a call. Our number's up on the screen, or you can send us an email. Our email address is up on the screen. Give us a call. We'll get that report out to you. Now, I want to also give a little bit of a commercial about the good folks here at PCTV.
Okay.
Because our show, the reason we started doing this show is because of our office here in Pottstown, and we wanted to have a presence here in the community, which we feel very strongly about. But there's a couple bonuses that we have with doing this show, and that is that PCTV puts our show up on their website. It's called thepctvnetwork.com. Now, what's nice about that is you don't have to be here in the Pottstown viewing area to look at our show. You can do it anywhere. You can do it all around the world.
So if you're sitting in an igloo and up in the icy areas of the North Pole,
yep.
As long as you have a switch.
As long as you have a Wi-Fi connection or LTE or whatever, you can do it. So yeah, the PCTV network shows they broadcast our show when they're showing it on TV. It's a simulcast. You can look at it on the website. Now, in addition to that, here's another bonus. We have it on our website. So informedfamily.com, we show the TV show as well. So
if we go on our website, informedfamily.com's website, up there on the website are archived, I think, a lot of our shows, or all the shows. So if you were watching and saw something that you had interest in, maybe you want to see it again to see if you heard right, that's a great source to be able to get it. And again, it's good information. I mean, the company, Jeff, Informed Family, that word informed, we take it pretty seriously, that we want to have people to be informed about the best that they can do for their families from a financial standpoint. And if you're hitting your late 50s, early 60s, Social Security is absolutely critical, and you need to be informed about it.
Yep. And time marches on. I mean, believe it or not, we're well into our second year here. This is our 16th show that we're doing here today.
And by the way, this is also our 15th year as Informed Family Financial. It's celebrating 15 years. I don't know what that anniversary is. I know they have your bicentennial and your sesquicentennial. This is our 15-year tennial. I don't know whatever you call it, but that's pretty good. That
just means we've
years.
we've been around a while. We've been blessed, and we've helped a lot of people along the way. And of course, we opened up our office here in Pottstown a number of years ago, right down there on the corner of High and Hanover Street, in that great big brick building that everybody knows about. So yeah, we're excited about that.
That's great. Now,
again, the free report. Give us a call, send us an email, and we'll get that out to you.
Well, also, we have events that we do. This Social Security has become such a hot topic that we now do fairly regularly workshops where we do it's a 1 hour friendly kind of no sales kind of workshop where we would just talk about Social Security and how to maximize your benefits. So if you'd like to attend one of our workshops, we love having people come. It's a nice way to spend an hour or two, and again, there's nothing sold, and you'll learn a lot about Social Security, and people find it very, very helpful to go to those types of things. So one of our
we take our show on the road. If you want to meet Jeff and Barry in person, we do the social. They're basically centered around Social Security. So if you're at or near retirement and you're faced with that Social Security decision, we have up on the screen a couple of upcoming dates. We're going to be doing just about one workshop per month for the rest of the year.
That's great. So anyway, we hope to see some folks there, and that's a great way to meet people. So getting back to the nuts and bolts of Social Security, is it possible? I mean, I've heard people say, "Well, I already made the decision; it's done. I can't do anything." Can you do a do-over with Social Security? How does that work?
Yes, you can. You can do a Social Security do-over, and many people aren't aware of this. But if you started collecting Social Security retirement benefits within the past year, and decide that it wasn't the right move, you can repay all your benefits that you received, and reapply for potentially higher benefits at a future date. This maneuver essentially resets everything as if it never happened. So you're wiping the slate clean. You're paying everything back. And there's a couple things to remember here. Number one, 365 days. So you have a whole year to do this. So that from the time you start receiving your benefits, you have a whole year. So again, circumstances could dictate that, or maybe you got some advice from a professional and they said, well, you know what, maybe it wasn't such a good idea to take Social Security. Maybe there's other sources for you to get your income, and you can delay getting your benefit, and it'll be a larger benefit in getting it later. There's a lot of moving parts with Social Security, so you have to analyze it. But the good news is you have 365 days to change your mind. So now the big challenge, here's the second thing. Here's the big challenge, Barry. You got to pay the money back, okay? So if you're getting a benefit of $2,000, let's say you're getting $2,000 a month, and you're 6 months in, and you decided that, well, you know what, I want to restore my benefits. I want to, take my benefit later, and I want it to be bigger. But it's going to cost you $12,000 to do that, because you got to repay back everything. So that is the big challenge.
So you have two different kind of situations. One being where you just started taking Social Security, you're not at your full retirement age yet, and you change your mind. You have to pay back, and you have a year to stop it and pay back what you paid in. Now, earlier in the show, you mentioned the start, stop, and start. That's a situation where someone's collecting benefits, but they're already at their full retirement age, and they decide they want to stop. Now,
yeah, you can do that too.
Do they have to repay their benefits? Okay, so that's
different.
Okay,
that's different. That's a good point, because that's different. So let's make that distinction. The start, stop, restart. That just means that you've already taken your benefit. You're going to suspend it and then retake the benefit at a later time. And you're right. If you're over the age of 66, you're at that full retirement age. The do-over, or not the do-over, I'm sorry, the restoring the benefit that we're talking about now, that's more like if you're 62 when you started taking the benefit. We had a case in our office
yeah.
a couple
we've had several of them.
We've had several where you get laid off from your job, you need income, so
panic maybe a little bit.
So you panic a little bit, so you take the Social Security benefit a couple months down the road. And what's happening now is, the economy's starting to ease up a little bit, and there's more jobs. And we had a guy call us a couple weeks back, and he got employment. So we said, okay, well, let's look at maybe repaying your benefit, and then, it'll be like you never did. You took it. You can then restore your complete benefit and then take it at some point down the road.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I know we recently were working with a couple, and they were going to take their benefits. They'd already made up their mind how they were going to take their benefits. And when we asked the questions and probed and got a better idea of their whole situation, family situation, financial, where they were financially, their ages, their health, their longevity, we came to the conclusion and recommended that they do it very, very different from what they envisioned. And if they have a normal life expectancy, we probably got that family maybe an extra $150,000 in the course of their lifetimes. Well, that's adding value and giving good service to folks, and people appreciate that. Does that mean it's going to happen to you? Not necessarily, but you're always better off when you have the information on which to base any decision, but particularly a financial one. And there's a lot of emotion when it comes to making this choice on Social Security. Again, as you said earlier, some people feel like, well, that money's sitting over there, it's like free money. Well, I think most people realize nothing in life is free. You paid for that Social Security benefit, and it's up to you to make the most of it, and we can help you there.
Okay.
Let's talk. Do you want to talk a little bit about taxes?
Yep.
As unpleasant as that might be, the taxes have to be paid, right?
Yep. So how do we advise our clients to prepare for taxes on Social Security benefits? And the answer is easy. You pretty much have to expect to pay taxes on most of your Social Security. So the way it works is this. 85% of your Social Security benefits are subject to federal tax if you're making a very low threshold. So if you're making $34,000 for a single taxpayer, now if you're married, it's a little bit higher. I think it's like 42. So I'm gonna use single numbers if you're single. If you're married, the numbers are about $8,000 to $10,000 higher. Okay, but if you're single and your income, what they call provisional income. Now, provisional income is basically all your income except Social Security, and then half of Social Security. Okay, so it doesn't take you long to get to $34,000.
One thing I'll mention though is if you're someone who doesn't say is not going to be getting their income so much from 401k or IRA money, but is going to be using savings or proceeds from, say, the sale of a business or a house or whatever, or just regular money, there are ways to get that income and keep it mostly tax-free. So that's something to bear in mind.
Okay, very good. There are. You're right. Okay, so $34,000, and it's 85%. Now, if you're less than that, it's probably going to be somewhere around 50%. Now, here's the other thing. There's no, we experience what we call bracket creep.
Okay.
And what bracket creep does is it means that every year your Social Security goes up, but this threshold doesn't move.
Hasn't in the past, anyway.
Yeah, so what happened, well, there's nothing in the tax code for it to move. So it's in the tax code, or it's in the code to get higher Social Security benefits, but there's nothing in there to raise that. There has to be an act of Congress. Okay, so what happens is that amounts to a tax increase. So eventually everybody's going to be paying tax on 85%. Okay, now got to move a little bit fast here because we're getting down to the end. What about children's benefits? Well, if you had children later in life, they're entitled to benefits too. So up to age 17, or if they're still in high school. Same thing with survivor benefits. Okay, so you passed away, your children can still receive survivor benefits up until the time they graduate high school. So, all right, so we got to put a wrap on our show here today. Covered a lot of information. Again, if you want to come out to our public event, you can. The dates are up on the screen. If you want our report, things that we talked about today, little known facts about Social Security, you can also contact our office for that. So it's the 40 little known facts and tips about Social Security and our public events. We'd love to see you. And until next time, this is Financially Speaking with Jeff Bush.